I had a panic attack at work. It was like I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing so fast. It felt like I was just going to explode. It was this moment of just having the spotlight put on me, and all of a sudden, there I was as a 28-year-old transported into an awkward 14-year-old. Have you ever had that moment where your emotions just hijack you? You see, I'd never been confident throughout my life, and I didn't even know what it meant to be confident. I didn't understand it in any way, shape, or form. And it was in that moment I thought, oh, I've got to do something about this. Like, enough is enough. And ever since that day, I've devoted all of my time and energy into finding the right tools that have helped me to reshape my life in ways that I never imagined possible. It led me down a completely new path. And along my journey, I've came across some of the best evidence-based approaches for change. And of all things, hypnosis. Hypnosis was the very thing to give me back that control. You see, I had been hypnotizing myself all along, thinking that I wasn't good enough. The minute that I gained control over my thoughts, over my feelings, my actions, everything rapidly changed for me. So, hi, my name is Amy Cinnamond. I'm a hypnotist and a personal development coach, and I am super passionate about helping people to flip the switch when it comes to their confidence so they can rapidly move into the changes that they want for themselves much more easily and naturally so that they can actually take back control of their life. My mission is to help people recognize their inner strengths, to believe in their own abilities, to make the changes that they want to those habits, those behaviors that they've just simply grown out of. Because if you believe the way that things are is the way that things that will stay, you're already doing hypnosis. Now it's time to dehypnotize yourself, which is exactly why I offer a free hypnosis strategy session. Because the fact that you're watching this video means that you're ready to go ahead now and take that step so you can finally make those changes that you've been wanting to make for way too long. Because now is the time to do it, which means the next step is to click that button, book in that call, and I look forward to speaking with you very soon. Because when you're in that position of feeling calm, confident, composed, you are more aware of what you are thinking and feeling. So you have more choice. It's certainly a better place to be in than having no awareness, because when we aren't aware of what's going on inside of us, when we don't hear it or we don't feel it or we're simply just ignoring it, that's when things begin to get a little bit messy. And so we have to recognize the impact of the information that our mind and body are processing, whether it's internally from our own dialogue, whether it's from our own thoughts or feelings, our behaviors, or from external sources, from friends, from family, from social media. So the information that we gather is constantly having an impact on us. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up if you can. If not, sitting is fine too. Have your hands free because I'm going to be asking you to hold your arms out in front of you like this. Because when it comes to our internal experience, sometimes we just need a little bit of a moment of giving ourselves the time, the attention. So take 2 minutes now. Have your arms out in front of you like this, both hands flat. I don't know if you can see. And then turn your right hand facing upwards. Make sure you relax your shoulders. Don't have them up by your ears. Just relax them. Lift your chest up. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just close your eyes on down. And now that your eyes are closed, begin to imagine that I've placed a large, heavy, heavy book on that right hand. Just using that powerful imagination of yours now. Notice what happens when you imagine that happening now. That heavy book being placed on that right hand. And as you begin to get a sense of that in some way, shape, or form, bring your attention over to that left wrist of yours. And as you get a sense of your left wrist, I want you to imagine now, using that powerful imagination of yours, just imagine, begin to notice that I've tied a string around that wrist, and that string is being pulled upwards towards the sky. Because on the end of that string, way up there in the sky, is a huge bunch of helium balloons that is pulling your wrist up. Just getting a sense of allowing that wrist to feel lighter, as if it's being pulled up towards the sky. Those balloons lifting that wrist up. And just imagine what that's like for you. Notice what you can notice about that. And all the while you notice and get a sense and imagine those balloons pulling your arm upwards. Notice the heavy sensation on your right hand from that heavy book, as you imagine now another heavy book being placed onto that right hand, weighing it down. That's right. And then keeping your arms where they are, open your eyes and just notice. Just notice what that was like for you. What did you notice? What did you imagine? What did it feel like in your body? Most of you will have noticed that you've got a sense of the weight and your hand actually physically moved, and you felt the lightness, or you imagined the balloons. What's important to realize is that your mind is doing this 24/7 to all information that it receives from external sources and from you internally. The thoughts that you have in your mind, we are suggestible to information, and depending on the information will of course depend on how you as an individual respond to it. We all respond in our own unique way. Your body is so objective, it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. Think about the fact that you can watch a movie and, well, you know that they're all actors, right? And you know that they're all dressed up and they've learned scripts and it's a big scene, but you still get caught up in the emotion. You still end up crying when the puppy dies. You still end up hiding behind the cushion when it's a scary scene. It's the information and the impact, because thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. This is why we can think about something in the future that we're worried about and have a panic attack about it now. The same reason we can think of somebody, maybe we don't like them very much, and we feel annoyed even though they're not here. So we have to flip this natural ability on its head completely and begin to practice focusing on what could go right rather than what could go wrong. And it's not easy, but it is possible. If we have all the focus on what could go wrong, then we're going to start experiencing those feelings of it going wrong right now. So it's a natural ability that you have. This isn't about, just think positively, though it is about thinking positively, because when we think about the outcome that we actually want, or the way things, if we think about things going right, or what will happen when we think about what's going right rather than what's going wrong, then all of a sudden we're going to experience that internal success. Why would we not want to do that? Now, some people can become a little bit upset by their awareness of their thoughts and actually give themselves a hard time for it. A client of mine, when I asked her, how have you been, what's been different since we last met? And she said, well, all of a sudden I'm very aware of my thoughts throughout the day. Something that was pretty new to her. She'd been pretty unaware of her negative dominant thoughts and how they were impacting her. And my reaction was, congratulations, you've just become much more aware of your dominant thoughts, which means you're in a better position than most people. You see, having no awareness of what those unconscious dominant thoughts are is not a good place to be, as it's almost like you don't have a choice. It's just something that happens and you don't know why you feel that way. Or it's, we tend to blame things outside of ourselves, or it's because of this, it's because of that. The minute we do that, though, we diminish responsibility and therefore have no control. So again, developing awareness is a starting point. Now, let me take you through a quick process that will give you a pretty tangible strategy to adopt into your daily life. And this is something that, well, when I discovered it about 10 years ago, it was a complete game changer for me, and I immediately put it to use. And it's still probably the main thing that I use for myself today. And when you work with me as a client, it's typically, depending on where you're at, is typically one of the first things that we delve into, because it's one of those I see it as one of those fundamental aspects of resetting your mind. You see, when it comes to making a change, a person has to change the brain and the body to step out of that familiarity of what it's been up until now. So you may think that the changes you want to make, like losing weight or to stop worrying, for example, you may even make attempts to put those changes into action. But the minute you get uncomfortable about it, the minute you feel out of your comfort zone and not the norm, you'll immediately retreat back to what's norm, back to the exact same routines, because it's familiar. It's what we call a habit, an unconscious program. The minute you do something differently, it's almost like, whoa, hang on, where you going? We don't do things this way. Even if the way you've been doing it isn't beneficial for you. Something that you've done so many times, your body does it better than your conscious mind. You no longer have to think about it. And of course, those negative ones can often be related to negative experiences, negative traumatic experiences. And when these experiences are left unresolved, they contribute greatly to feelings of stress, to feelings of panic, and perhaps even a pretty distorted view of what you are capable of. Even if it's years after the event, those experiences that limit us, the dreaded fear of it happening again, can still be there. When the great thing about hypnosis is that sometimes, if necessary, we can go back to the first time you can remember that feeling that has everything to do with why you contacted me in the first place. And it's during that process where we create the possibility of going through that and changing the perception of that. Never to analyze why it happened. Instead, think of it a little bit like a slingshot, like we're pulling back in order to propel you forward. That allows you to take on a new perspective in a much more beneficial and empowering way for you now. You see, you cannot change the past. It has already happened, but you can change how you think and how you feel about the past now. That's what's important here. And it's just one of the many wonderful ways in which hypnosis works. So my program is essentially all about giving you the skills, teaching you how to get out of that past and this predictable future that we create for ourselves and back into the present moment where we can break that old conditioning process, if you like. So we can flip the switch, focus on what you want to have happen, which means you're much more likely to execute it in a way that's right for you. And because of that, you immediately change those habits that no longer serve you. And you move into a state of mind and body that you do want. So ultimately, we rapidly, but very gently, chip away those thoughts, those feelings that, well, that just don't belong anymore. Those obstacles that were too big to overcome. And creating new empowering discoveries about what you are capable of, breaking those old cycles of habit, no longer holding on to memories from the past. So instead now, taking on a new reality, a new way of being. I have to say, managing your own state of mind isn't easy, but there is a way that you can prevent yourself from being hijacked by emotions, and it's all in your physiology, in your body. That is what holds the key. This is that core, key, fundamental aspect that I was talking about earlier, because it's one of those things that sets us as a real strong foundation from which to build upon. And this is one of the most effective ways that I find that we can take action, but in a very easy and simple way that allows us to access the courage to feel good about ourselves, to feel deserving and worthy and confident, which means you'll move towards your goals much quicker and easier, developing those strong foundations for that ultimate confidence, if you like, to remain calm and composed and confident at any time, anywhere, which means you'll feeling good about yourself, your ability to make changes that you want and deserve, embracing the part of us that wants to evolve. And that's an area that we'll tap into here today, because when you realize how much control you really do have, making the change is easy. It's usually around the belief that it has to be had. That's where the work is done, which is part of the program of exploring those beliefs, perhaps the ones that are already there and the ones that need to be perhaps heightened or discovered, or perhaps it's time to take some new ones on. Okay, for this very simple, easy technique that you can implement as early as today into your normal daily life is very simple. Now, go along, follow my instructions, and notice. That's all you have to do is notice what it's like for you. So, whether you're sitting, standing, just have your hands free, put the phone down, and just slouch. Let your chin drop and have your eyes looking down. And in this position of head down, eyes down, shoulders slouched, just notice what it's like for you in this position. It may seem counterintuitive for what we're achieving here today, but again, just follow along through the process. As you're sat in that position with your head down, eyes down, I want you to think about something that makes you feel very anxious, something that has been making you feel anxious. Whatever that is for you, think about that. Think about that thing you've been worried about and just notice what it's like in this position. Good. Now stay in that position, head down, eyes down, because this time I want you to try and think about something you would normally be buzzing over, something that would normally bring you joy, something that you feel passionate about, something really positive, whatever that is for you, something that makes you feel good. Try and think about that in this position, keeping the head down, keeping your eyes down, trying not to move a muscle. Don't move a muscle, stay in that position. Try and think about something really, really good, something really that you're really passionate about. Notice what it's like in this head down, shoulders slumped, eyes down position. Good. Now I want you to change your position. So this time, I want you to lift your chin, have your shoulders back, have your chest up, and just have your chin not all the way up, just slightly up, and then have your eyes looking up. That is high as comfortable for you. Have your eyes looking up. Now, in this position, I want you to try and think about that same old thing that you were worried about before. Try and think about that now in this position and notice what it's like for you as you try and think about it in that chest up, chin up, eyes looking up position, and just notice. And now I want you to think about that really positive thing that has you buzzing, jumping for joy, whatever that is for you. Think about that now in this position with your head up, eyes up, chin up. Think about that now and notice what it's like. Please let me know in the comments what you noticed about that, how it impacted you, what you noticed between those two different positions. All we had there was the same two thoughts, okay? We didn't change the thought. All we did was change the position of your body. Sometimes we spend so much focus in the world of change and therapy and personal development. It's all about changing what you think, right? And sometimes that's the hardest place to start. One of the most effective and efficient ways is just to simply change your body language. It sends a completely different message to your brain. And if you followed through that process, you will have noticed for yourself exactly why keeping your head up, your shoulders back, and looking up will serve you very, very well. Especially when it comes to thinking about those moments where it's been that issue, where it's been that problem. Thinking about it in this position will bring a different perspective. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, I'm Amy Cinnamon. Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to speaking with you very soon.